What is happening, peoples? Frank here from Wrench Nation. Today we're covering tips on how to change the serpentine belt. You're probably going to need to replace your belt because it's cracked, it's frayed, stretched, or it's making noise. We're going to go visit with a junkyard to look at the most common scenario setups for vehicles that have the serpentine belt, V-rib belt. We're also going to dive into the special tooling that's required, along with some of the more important items that you may want to replace with the belts. Now, the tools you'll need will be serpentine belt tensioner tools, just like a set like this. I'll have this down in the comments where you guys can pick one up. Gear Wrench makes the most suitable one with various sockets and inserts to cover most lines of tensioners. Now, if your belt isn't cracked, however, you're getting a little squall or squeak in the morning, the belt may be stretched. A quick way to check is to actually turn the belt about halfway. Halfway is an indication that the belt is probably not stretched, but if it turns more than halfway, that probably means you got a stretched belt. Now, one of the first things you can do if you're not sure about the serpentine belt routing is get your phone, take a picture of that serpentine belt routing so you can use that as a reference later on. Now, your engine obviously is in the engine bay, so getting in easily with a ratchet like this may be a little bit more difficult. So use an extension or an extension to the extension to make that spring-loaded tensioner come released a lot easier. Now, most of the spring-loaded tensioners will have either a 14 or a 15. Check your owner's manual. Make sure, the key is you want to make sure that you get the right fitting socket and there's absolutely no play at that bolt so you don't strip that head off. Now, here's a quick tip. If you're putting the belt back on, typically you want to save the alternator, which is usually the highest point of the engine, for last. So you want to loom your belt back on. Remember, again, to take a look at that picture or any diagrams to make it easier. Get that under. Start your finger placement here by the highest point. And loom that up on the top. Now, depending on what kind of engine you have, what kind of vehicle, you're going to have to get it from the top or from the bottom side. Now, you want to make sure that when you got that belt off, that these pulleys don't have any bearing issues. That'll cause some noise. So go ahead and circulate these pulleys and make sure that there isn't any bearing noise. Make sure the alternator pulley is nice and straight. AC pulley is nice and straight. Power steering pulley is nice and straight. And most of all, where this can be a big problem is that Big Daddy crank pulley or harmonic balancer. Now, if your belt tensioner isn't spring-loaded, it may be adjustable. You want to get your ratchet and the right socket or possibly wrench and move the pulley side by side till you loosen up that belt, and do the opposite when you're putting the belt on to make it nice and tight. The biggest thing with your serpentine belt is to take your time, keep it simple, and don't get complicated. Go with quality parts and you'll get the job done. Thanks for stopping by. I'm Frank with Wrench Nation. Hey, my fellow mechanics, if I've missed anything, chime in and down in the comments. We want to help as many people as we can. And don't forget to subscribe, because we got more car care, easy, simple tips coming your way.